morning, ladies and gentlemen. Here again for the Freedom Sunday Night Racing League. Tonight we're at Legacy Phoenix. We're gonna have I think, a pretty unique race here. Not the biggest field, but still a pretty decent turnout here. A lot of guys that are still looking to lock themselves into the playoffs. We have drivers that missed last week or had potentially a not so good race last week at Daytona Road Course. Of course, Reese Schaefer went on to win that race, so he's feeling pretty good about him. Or, sorry, that was Joseph Kazi that won that last. Joseph Kazi won last week at Daytona Road Course, so he's feeling pretty confident. But Reese Schaefer is also right there behind him. They're both kind of trailing each other in wins. No one has really had the advantage so far, and I think it's gonna be a battle between those two and Derek Garrison again tonight. It's gonna be a lot of action-packed racing, and I'm excited for you guys to join us tonight. In this meantime, we're just gonna finish up. We're currently wrapping up qualifying. Looks like right now we got Reese Schaefer on the pole. So far, looking good for him. Are we surprised? Not quite yet. I think his practice times looked really good. He was quickest overall. I didn't quite look at the averages, but as far as I'm aware, he's the one to beat. All right, just a few more seconds here before we wrap up qualifying. And then we'll get these guys set and ready to go racing. All right, let's get focused on these guys. Let's line them up, and then we will get racing here. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting lineup here. In row number 1, we have Reese Schaefer, Joseph Kazi. These two guys have been the class of the field so far. Neither of them has had quite the advantage like we've been talking about. I think it's going to come down to whoever has the best strategy and is able to get the clean air. Going on to row number 2, we have Jordan Trask, Derek Garrison. Both these guys having good start. Derek Garrison has that one win already, so he's kind of, anything from here on out is pretty much just guaranteeing his spot in this playoff and putting his name out there. Jordan Trask still looking for this first win in this series. He's come very close multiple times, still has yet to get it though. And then right behind him in row number 3, Jordan Berry, Eric Garrison. These guys also both have had very good runs. Still looking for win number 1 in the season. Then right behind him in row number 4, Bryce Shoemaker on the inside, Aaron Kay on the outside. Bryce Shoemaker has that one win earlier this season. He's going to have to come a little further back if he wants to get win number 2, but that's no challenge for him. In row number 5, Keith Shoemaker, Nick Wood. Nick Wood will be carrying our Freedom racing on board throughout the night, so we'll check in with him as this race goes on. Then going on to the final row, Jim Froskett, Stephen Davis, both these guys continuing to have what's going to be hopefully a good season for them. All right, race car's going to take the hard left turn here. Then we'll get under racing here. Reese Schaefer, Joseph Kazi on the front row. Green flag in the air. Let's go racing here tonight at the Legacy Phoenix Raceway. Most of these guys single filed out so far. Reese Schaefer has the lead. He was able to clear Joseph Kazi. Joseph Kazi got to the outside there a little bit, but Reese Schaefer was able to take that lead back fairly quickly, so now he's going to have this clean air and kind of set sail on the field here. No incident so far. Everybody kind of single filed out. I think this is going to be kind of one of these races that we're going to have to watch how these guys save their tires and continue to make up time and position on these longer runs. Let's go ahead and take a look at the race weather here. Air temp 72 degrees, track temp 79 degrees. No humidity, surprisingly. Forecast is partly cloudy, so this might play effect depending on if we get any cloud shade. I do believe, though, we will probably be mostly directly in the sun, so these drivers are going to have and manage a slicker track than most of the time. Winds not too high, southwest 10 miles an hour. Not too crazy. Might get a little bit of wind here and there, but overall it looks like we're going to have a pretty nice race ahead of us. Then we saw right there Derek Garrison was able to get to the inside of Joseph Kazi there for second place. Derek Harrison's been pretty good at these more demanding tracks. Again, he won at Old Atlanta earlier this season before our break, and that kind of solidified his playoff spot. Not that he was looking outside the bubble, but he hadn't had that success like some of these other drivers had, and that kind of was able to move him further into these playoff positions. Right now we got this battle here for about fourth, fifth position. That's Jordan Trass, Jordan Berry, and Eric Garrison. Bryce Shoemaker right behind him. Not too far behind. Trying to pressure these guys into the mistakes and getting an easier, clean pass. Jordan Berry's able to slot up in front of Bryce and get behind Eric. Now he's going to go to work trying to get around to Eric Garrison. Also, don't know if my training paints is updated. We'll have to double check this under our first commercial break. I apologize to anyone who doesn't see a current updated paint. I was updating some stuff earlier, including irising, and I think I forgot to open that, but we'll get those updated here pretty quickly. Now Jordan Berry peeking to the inside of Eric Garrison here. Eric's going to give him plenty of room, run a little bit higher. Jordan Berry a little bit loose there off exit, not too much time lost, but don't look in the mirror. Here comes Bryce Shoemaker in that 54 machine. Oh, Jordan Berry right there with a big slide off of turn 4. That's going to cost him 6th place here to Bryce Shoemaker, maybe even 7th place to Nick Wood. This turn 4 is a really slick track, and these drivers are going to have to manage the throttle coming off of here all night long. If you get on this throttle too hard, you have the chance of sending yourself around, and a lot of these drivers do not want that. These guys want to have these stage positions as much as they can, or these stage points as much as they can, and part of that is gaining and maintaining these positions that they're in. So like I just mentioned, we got a stage here. Let's look at this race analysis. 150 laps tonight. Stage is lap 75. Pit road speed 45 miles an hour. I wasn't able to quite calculate a fuel window, so I'm just going to guess it's around 30 to 35 laps. Not quite sure if that's accurate or not, so we'll try and check in with the driver here, or at least see what this first run does for us. Then we have 5 sets total, 1 behind the wall out of those 5. So plenty of time for these drivers to play some strategy into this race. Again, it's still going to be about tire saving and trying to maintain these tires the best you can. Bryce Shoemaker was able to get around Jordan Berry. Jordan Berry continuing to struggle just a little bit here early on. Not a whole lot that's going to really cause him too much time. We haven't seen him get super crazy loose or anything, just a few slides here and there, and that's cost him quite a bit of time, but still able to maintain a fairly respectable position on track so far. So like I said, during our first few moments of the stream here, Nick Wood is going to carry our Freedom Racing onboard camera as well as the Ford Performance Cam. So we'll kind of go on his car here and let's ride around with him here and see how slick this track is. Alrighty. You can see these guys are washing up a little bit higher than some of the other guys. Actually, we're going to go on, and that's a big slide out of Nick Wood here. That's going to be our first caution here. So like I was saying, this track is very slick, and we just saw it while riding on board with Nick Wood there. A little bit too much throttle, and around he went. I don't think he hit anything. That car looks fairly clean. Maybe a little bit of front end scrapage. Not really a whole lot of damage, but let's go back and take a look here. Yeah, he kind of got below that seam, and when he hit that, it kind of sent his car around. Let's watch it again and see. Yeah, he's kind of taking this higher lane and diamonding it down to the lower. Just got below that apron, that yellow line, that apron, and That track doesn't really have a whole lot of grip. Sent his car around, and he was able to keep it off the wall, so I was wrong about that damage. So he's going to be able to continue on here pretty clean, I think. Those tires, he'll probably want to change them. That was a pretty decent slide and lockup, but we'll see what he decides to do here. So it does look like he'll take tires here. Majority of these other guys will also take tires. It's pretty much standard strategy. This track is going to eat up these tires fairly quickly, and the only thing I'm going to say is that these the stage is definitely going to play a factor. I'm not quite sure if my actual field strategy was correct, but if it is, then topping off there is going to save you a little bit extra laps, and that's going to stretch this window for them by quite a decent amount. Let's go ahead and rack and stack these guys up. Not too much change shuffled up here after that pit stop. Reese Schaefer is still our leader. Derek Garrison there in second place. Actually, I say that, and it looks like Kazi did drop back, so that's the only one major change that we had under this pit stop. So move Jordan Trask up there into third place. Jordan Berry as well up into fourth place. Let's get ready. These guys are ready to go, I think. Pace car is going to pull off. Reese Schaefer is going to lead him into the restart zone. Green flag in the air. Ooh, a little bit of tire spin there from Derek Garrison on the high side. That's going to open up the door for Jordan Berry and Jordan Trask. Jordan Berry now up to second place. Very tough restart zone. If you're trying to put the throttle down too quickly, that'll happen. You don't have a lot of grip when trying to do these restarts, and if we're on slicker tires and older used tires, that's going to be something that we're going to have to watch out for later in this race if you do get more restarts. The field did a really good job there at maintaining their positions and not getting too greedy and wrecking one another. So props to them. That could have been a lot worse than it actually was. Eric Garrison now looking to the inside of Jordan Trask there. Not able to make anything happen. Lost a little bit of time there off exit. So Jordan Trask is going to be able to pull away. Right behind him we got Aaron Kay and Bryce Shoemaker there. Bryce Shoemaker got a little bit high there. 47's going to look down to his inside. Now Jim Fossett's going to get a little bit loose there, trying to get the throttle back down. It's going to lose a little bit of time there to Bryce Shoemaker, and that's going to allow Joseph Kazi here to put some pressure on his back bumper. Nick Wood back here trying to gain some spots and make up his lost time there after that slide. The only thing he doesn't want to do is make the mistake again coming off of 4. That would definitely hurt his night, and it probably wouldn't end it. As we say that, he gets a little bit deep into the corner there. You could see that rear end step out, not hurting him too much though, but he's going to have to want to be a little bit more careful on these tires here. Joseph Kazi now putting pressure on this 47 again. All over the back bumper. He's going to look to the inside. Get to the inside of him. Jim Foskett kind of let Kazi go there. Knew he was a little bit quicker. Didn't put too much of a fight with him. And that's kind of like some respect from one driver to another driver. When you know that another car is maybe a little bit quicker than you, you just let him go. Maybe get that respect back from other drivers, or even that driver later in the race or just in the season. You never know when your time will come, and roles could be flipped and reversed, and next thing you know, could be Jim going for a win and Joseph Kazi struggling, and all this will probably benefit you in the end. Let's go back up front. We got some change for position here. Derek Garrison is able to get to second, and then Jordan Berry was also able to get around Jordan Trask was able to get around Jordan Berry. Excuse me, the Jordan show here for third and fourth place here. Remember, Jordan Berry was able to get around Derek Garrison there at that start. Derek Garrison had that little bit of trouble on that restart, had a bit of tire spin and cost him a few positions, but now it looks like Derek was able to get himself into a cleaner mindset and resettled back down, so he's going to move back up to second place. Jordan Berry way up against the wall, maybe even hit it a bit. Big wiggle there by the number 5, Eric Garrison, right behind him. Field is looking pretty spread out, so let's go ahead and take a side-by-side real quick, and we'll be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Alright, well, we saw the end of that. We got Nick Wood around again. His night's continuing to get a little bit worse here. Let's go back and take a look here and see what actually happened to him. We saw him going into the grass there. I believe Bryce Shoemaker might have also been caught up with that, but let's go take a look. And I did not go for enough back, so let's go ahead and see. Oh. Looks like he just got a little bit loose here coming off of turn 2 again. Just went around into the grass and that ended up in a caution here. So the bad night continues for Nick Wood. If you're a Nick Wood fan, it's not looking too pretty, but still plenty of laps to go in this race. Still enough time for him to turn things around here. So it's not the end of it. Just not how the start of your race would probably want to go if you're him. Got Jordan Berry here making his way down pit road while these other guys are gonna pick their lane that they want in. Not quite sure if there's an issue here with Jordan Trass or if he's just making a scheduled pit stop. Let's go ahead and look here. So it looks like he's just making a scheduled pit stop here. He might have missed pit road or maybe had an issue there the first time around. The field's gonna get reset here. Joseph Kazi on this front row now. Jim Foskett there in the 47. So now Reese Schaefer's going to be having to deal with not a whole lot of dirty air, but still enough dirty air behind these two guys. See what Kazi can do here on this restart to hold off Reese Schaefer. Green flag in the air here. Joseph Kazi's going to lead him into turn 1 and 2. Reese Schaefer able to get around the 47 pretty quickly. Now setting sights on Joseph Kazi there, and there's a little bit of contact behind him with the 54 and 47. 47 might not be too happy about that. Jordan Berry continuing to put on this good battle here for 4th place with Bryce Shoemaker. This is kind of where he's been all night. Now we see these two catching Joseph Kazi there. Joseph Kazi stayed out, it looked like there, under that caution, so he's got a little bit more worn tires there, so he might be sliding a little back. Trying to hold off these guys with maybe a little bit fresher tires, and around goes Aaron K behind him. I believe that was Aaron K. Just these guys' aggression level a little bit high here, and it is also a very difficult track to manage. Not a lot of room to make errors here. Kind of a one lane that you're gonna have to stick to, and guys trying their best to battle but also maintain speed. Let's go ahead and take a look at what happened, Mr. Aaron K here. All right, so a little bit of help from, I believe that's Eric Garrison there in the 5 car. Let's take one more look at it here. Yeah, just Eric a little bit quicker than the 37 there in the center of the corner and just got into his left rear. 37 did a nice job of saving it and keeping it off the wall. So far, these drivers have honestly done a pretty good job. There's a little bit of concern between some drivers about how difficult and aggressive people would be here. Like I said, it's a very different track from what we're used to. It's a older layout from the current track that these drivers race at, so it's got its issues here and there. A little bit more bumpy, a little bit more rougher. We don't have the room and the lane option that we do at the newer Phoenix Raceway, so drivers here might not be accustomed to that and just trying to learn the track as they go, and that's no fault to them. It's just trying to manage around here without getting too crazy is always going to be a really difficult place, especially when it's an older track that we probably won't really go too much of in the next few seasons. I do think we'll have more variety of tracks. It's just these older tracks, a lot of drivers, like I said, had some concerns, but we'll have to wait and see what these officials decide for the schedule next season. All right, pace car should be off here again. We'll get these guys going. Reese Schaefer now, our leader. Jordan Berry to his outside. Bryce Shoemaker there in 3rd. Eric Garrison 4th. Green flag back in the air. Reese Schaefer with a good jump here. He's going to be able to clear these guys by quite a bit. The race is now going to be for 2nd and 3rd place. Jordan Berry able to get clean of Bryce Shoemaker. That's Eric Garrison to his outside now. And a good run by the 5 to be able to clear the 54 there. Now the battle's on here for 5th place between Derek and Jordan Trass here. And they actually figured that out pretty quick. Derek was able to get around and clear Jordan Trass here, defend off any pressure that Jordan was going to give him. But now Jordan has to deal with the number 6 of Nick Wood. Again, Nick Wood had these 2 issues earlier on, looking to try and turn it around here. Joseph Kazi here trying to make his way up through the field. Believe he pitted that last caution, so he's going to have a little bit fresher tires. Kind of did the flip-flop of what most of the guys did on that first caution. Maybe playing some strategy into this race early on. Kazi to the inside of Nick Wood, giving plenty of space there. See if Kazi's able to maintain this run to the inside. Sending a little bit deep there. Nick Wood gonna pinch just a little bit there off exit. Kazi still able to maintain his speed, although he will have the preferred inside lane here. Maybe send it in, slide up. Looks like he will. He'll take that position away from Nick Wood now. Jordan Trask there with a little bit of wiggling on the front stretch. Maybe hit that outside wall of turn 4. It's going to give up that position to Joseph Kazi now. Make it pretty easy for Joseph Kazi to get around. Actually, as I say that, he's going to fight back. Look back to the inside here. Sends it in a little bit deep. Trying to hold off Jordan Trask is Joseph Kazi, and he will do it. So he'll clear Jordan Trask and set sails on the rest of the field here. Big slide there by Bryce Shoemaker as we went on board with him. Joseph Kazi to his inside. You know, I hate to say it, but so far, every time I've gone on board with somebody, they've ended up spinning out. And that just about happened there with Bryce Shoemaker, so maybe we'll take a little bit of a break from that. We don't want to cause these drivers any more trouble than they already have on their plate, so we'll take a little bit of a break from going on board with these guys. But overall, a really good save there from Bryce Shoemaker. He was really sideways getting to that corner. I'm not quite sure if maybe he got a little bit deeper into the corner than he thought, or maybe he just missed his mark, his braking point, or his marker, his turning point, and just tried to oversteer it. Either way, he was really sideways there. Go up more towards the field here. We got the Garrison brother battle stirring up here. That's Eric Garrison in the 5, Derek Garrison in the 8. Both these guys hunting down Jordan Berry ahead of them. Time-wise, these guys are pretty much on par with each other. At least Berry, Garrison, and both the Garrisons are. Kazi, you can see, definitely a little bit quicker. He has those fresher tires. You can see what a difference these tires make. This time by, it's still not as quick, but still enough to at least see a difference here. He's going to close in on these guys pretty quickly, I'd assume. Eric Garrison there right with his little slide. That's going to hurt him just a little bit more here, trying to maintain position on Kazi. Kazi now pressuring the back of the 8 of Derek Garrison. See what he can do here. Jordan Berry in the wall a little bit there off 4. Didn't really slow him up too much, but you don't want to do that too many times. That'll hurt your overall night. May even give you some damage. Doesn't look like he has any damage there. As we go the battle here for third position, excuse me. Well, I guess technically third and fourth position here with the Garrisons and Kazi waiting in the back roads behind him. Eric there on the low lane, not really the preferred lane as we get deeper into these runs. That's going to move Derek and Kazi by him. Move Eric back to 5th position. Now Kazi's going to go to work here on Derek, and probably will be a little bit of an easier pass. Derek kind of has that mentality of knowing when to let guys go and when to race his own race. A little bit of a bobble off of the 4. Turn number 4 there for the 8 car. Let's go ahead and take a look at our driver here. Derek Garrison, 31 years old. He's currently got 1 win on the season, 5 top 5s, 9 top 10s. Not looking too bad for him. Kazi is going to send it to the inside of Derek Garrison, clear him pretty quick. Not, as I said that, he got a little bit slidey off the exit, so now Derek Garrison is going to go back to the inside of him here. Kazi should have a little bit of a run off here off exit, see if they're able to maintain their speed, and it looks like they both are. Kazi with a little bit of an advantage there. And I think Kazi should be able to make this pass here off the exit of turn 2 now that he has the higher lane. And it looks like he will be able to maintain this. So move Joseph Kazi up to 3rd place now. Now you wonder if Joseph Kazi's maybe picking up the pace a little bit, trying to catch Reese Schaefer here before this stage ends. And our stage is lap 75. I'm not sure if he has enough time to make up 3.5 seconds, but potentially could get Jordan Berry here for a second. Both these drivers are driving the wheels off that thing. We saw them both off the two right there. Get a little squirrely. We got a battle for 5th place heating up here. Eric Garrison under pressure again, this time from the 54 and the 9 car. Jordan Berry taking a little bit of a higher entry there. Bryce Shoemaker as well, but Jordan Berry is just kind of edging him out, maybe trying to get a little clean air on that front nose, trying to get that car to turn. Again, Jordan, or I keep saying Jordan Berry, I mean Jordan Trask. Took that higher lane there in 1 and 2. Wasn't able to gain a whole lot. Actually lost a little bit of time there to Eric and Bryce. Eric with a little bit of a bobble there. Now that's going to allow Bryce Shoemaker to get to the inside of him. See if he can maybe do something here. And actually, Bryce Shoemaker there had his own bobble, so now that's going to allow Jordan Trask here to get to the inside of him. It should be closed, so we won't see any pit stops here as we're under 2 laps to go until the end of the stage. Reese Schaefer got a pretty decent lead over the rest of the field of over 3.5 seconds, almost 4 seconds. Not really feeling any pressure from anyone, so he'll take the one to go here in stage number 1. Let's go back and view this battle here for 5th position. That's Bryce Shoemaker. He was able to get around Eric. So was Jordan Trask there in the 9. See if Bryce can defend off the 9 here at the line. It looks like he will. A little bit of a bobble there from Jordan Trask again. So our stage winner will be Reese Schaefer. Again, this is 10 points, 10 regular season points, and then 1 playoff point. And these points can carry over quite a bit. You never know when maybe you'll need that extra point. Maybe you won't if you're somebody like Reese Schaefer, but it's always good to have these points in the bag just in case you do need them. All right, well, we'll go ahead and take another side-by-side. You guys won't miss a thing, though. We'll stay on board. We'll be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Alrighty, welcome back, guys, here at Phoenix International Raceway, the Legacy version 2008. You guys saw it there on the non-stop side by side. We had a few guys on the pit road. That was Joseph Kazi, Jordan Trass. Those guys going a lap down currently, but they'll get their lap back once these other guys decide to pit. For the time being, though, current race leader Reese Schaefer still got a very decent lead over the field. It's now extended to 5.5 seconds, just over 5.5 seconds, almost 6 seconds. We'll see if anybody's able to put up any fight with him here, or if maybe Reese Schaefer has already closed this one out. Still plenty of racing left to go. Could see cautions. We could see issues. We saw issues with Reese Schaefer last week. He had computer issues, and that cost him to lose the lead and also maybe even a chance at the win. He was able to rebound to third position, but still, it cost him so much time on track. And you never know. We could see issues like that again. I would hope not, but you never know what could happen. I mean, this is just part of racing. Now let's take a look at these last pit lap, or the last time that these guys were on pit road. So like I just said, Kazi, Trass, those guys were just on pit road a few laps ago. The rest of the field, lap 39. Some of these guys 45. I think Jim's is incorrect. I could be wrong though. But a lot of these guys will have to pit here soon. I think one thing that I should mention is that if you're able to play your cards correctly, you could potentially just make this a one-stop race from here on out. I'm not, like I said, I wish I had a more accurate fuel window. I forgot to get that for tonight. But either way, if you're able to play your cards right, I know we've had a few cautions early on, and if you're able to play strategy, who knows? You potentially could see something crazy happen, as we got a battle for second place going on here. Derek's now able to get to the inside of Jordan Berry. Jordan Berry's been holding a pretty solid second place so far tonight. Ooh, Derek's really loose beneath him. It's going to cost him a little bit of time here. I was going to have to go back to work trying to get around Jordan Berry here in the 10 car. He's also going to want to cool down these tires. That was a pretty decent slide, and if you push the car too much, that could really affect the handling as we go on through this run. Eric's going to take a look to the inside. He's going to be able to pull to the inside side by side for the most part through the middle of the corner. It's going to be a drag race off the exit. Jordan Berry holding strong. He's going to have this higher thought Derek, a little bit of contact there. They're sliding into each other. Around's going to go Derek Garrison here, and that'll be a caution. I was just going to say, it looked like Derek kind of set it in a little bit deeper there, trying to get a little bit more out of his car, and I didn't want to jinx it, but it did happen. A little bit of contact right there into the left side of Jordan Berry, and that sent Derek Garrison around. All right, let's go ahead and take a look here at this replay. So he sent it in, got a little bit high, maybe a little bit tight and loose at the same time. Probably looks like a little bit tight underneath him. Um, yeah, let's go back here. I said it looked like he had sent it in a little bit deeper to hold even with Jordan Berry, and yeah, just a little bit of contact. Jordan Berry did a nice job at saving that car. Derek Garrison didn't get the great end of that, but he didn't hit smack the wall too hard. And I think he'll be able to not have to take his fast repair. Doesn't look like it really knocked out anything. So now Derek's going to stay on pit road here, try and get that damage fixed. Probably take 4 tires and fuel as well. Again, not a night ender if you're a number 8 fan of Derek Garrison. Let's go ahead and see how bad this damage is coming off pit road. I think they were able to fix majority of it. Looks like they were able to fix almost all of it. I don't really see anything dented out too far. Okay, maybe we can get a better camera angle here. Now it looks pretty clean to me, so the crew was able to fix it all. Again, I don't believe he took his fast repair, but we'll have to wait and see at the end of this thing. Alright, so a lot of these guys came down pit road, looks like topped off. Took tires. And that should set these guys up for the end of the race here. I believe so. Anyways, let's go ahead and get these guys under green flag racing again. Green flag back in the air. Reese Schaefer's going to lead him to green here again. That's Aaron K in the 37 on the inside. Jordan Berry in 3rd place. Actually, Derek didn't lose too many positions there. I think a lot of these guys took the wavy around there, trying to get their lap back. Nick Wood looking good here. Currently sitting in P5. Had those 2 spins on, or earlier on. So far rebounding to a pretty decent spot on the track right now. See if he's able to hang on for the rest of the night to that position. Jim Foskett. Currently a lap down still. Did not look like he took that wave around. He opted to probably pit there and keep up with the field instead of losing too much time. .37 the 6 now going to go at it. See if Nick Wood can pressure the 37 into any mistakes here. And now the 30 or the 10 and the 8 are back at it again. A little bit of door rubbing and banging off that turn 2 corner. Hopefully not have a repeat of last time. I know the 8's trying to do his best to get around the 10 as clean as possible. See if maybe he can do a little bit better job here. A little bit of a wall slap there on the right side from the 10. So side by side. Pinching one another, leaning off another. These guys are putting up a heck of a race here for 2nd place. Jordan Berry really wants to hold on to this 2nd place. I know Derek really wants that 2nd place though as well, so if these guys stay side by side, it's going to hurt their tires and let Reese Schaefer continue to pull away. So these guys are probably going to want to figure it out pretty quickly as a little bit more contact again, leaning off each other again. I don't think these drivers are too happy with each other right now. At least I wouldn't be if I was the 10. Nick Wood behind them got around the 37 there for 4th place now. So Nick Wood's making a late charge here into this race. Under 50 laps to go. Derek with the big slide there again. He's pushing the best he can to get around the 10 car, but the 10 car is just holding his own. He's doing such a good job right now at maintaining that speed on that high side and not allowing Derek Garrison to force him into any mistakes. So let's see if Derek is able to get to the back bumper again. He's trying. He's pushing his car to his limits for sure. This really good run off turn 4 there for the 8 car of Derek Garrison. He's going to get to the inside again of Jordan Berry. Jordan Berry's going to allow him to have a little bit more room, but still able to hang on to this 2nd position for the time being. And Derek Garrison's probably saying, what do I have to do to pass you, Jordan? What do I have to do? I've given you the bumper. I've leaned on you. I've wrecked off of you. And just Jordan Berry's continuing to hold his own so strong there on that high side. Derek's probably getting a little bit more frustrated as these laps go on and continues to see this gap in front of him grow more and more. As Reese Schaefer's now 3.5 seconds ahead of these guys. And don't look now, but Nick Wood here back behind him in that 6 Freedom Ford Mustang. He's closed in on these two battling. See if maybe he's able to get a 2-for-1 at any point, or if maybe he'll just kind of settle down and wait for these guys to figure it out. If they do figure it out. So far they haven't been able to quite figure it out. They're going back and forth for what seems like forever at this point. Ooh, Jordan Berry and Derek Garrison got a little bit of contact there again. Derek Garrison almost looped it again, but he was able to hang on. Let's go ahead and ride on board with Nick Wood here directly behind him. This is probably going to be some of the best shots we'll see of these two racing. See if Derek Garrison can catch Jordan Berry here again. You can see Derek Garrison here is kind of taking a little bit of a lower turns 3 and 4. Jordan Berry with a little bit higher, trying to get a little bit more of a runoff. That's where he's been comfortable all night long so far, is this higher groove. There's Garrison there with a good run again. See if he's able to make anything happen in 3 and 4, then get another good run down this front stretch. Not quite there, just needs a little bit more drive off. Does that 8 car. Open the door maybe just a little bit there for that 8 car. Did the 10. Oh, a little bit of contact there. The 8 gave him the little bit of a bumper there, shot there saying, hey, I'm here again. See if he can get a good run here off 4. They're side by side. These guys have been going at it so hard. The 8 leaning on the 10 almost every chance he gets besides him. Will this be enough of a set of corners for the 8 to clear the 10? Not quite. The 10 fighting so hard there on that high side. The 8's going to have to slot in behind the 10 again. Let's see how much more patience this 8 car has. He's tried everything he possibly can. Oh, the 10 with the big wiggle there. Oh, he's getting a little bit of assistance from the 8 car. Oh, the 10 still sideways. Great save by the 10. Will he continue to save onto it? Yes, he hangs onto it. And now the 8 car has that preferred outside lane. See if maybe he can try something. He's going to finally clear the 10. So move the 8 car to second position now. Jordan Berry trying to get right back on his bumper. It's just not enough there. Another moment there off of 2. Nick Wood now waiting right behind both of these guys, trying to make his move now on the 10 car. I'm sure the 8's really glad to be able to get around the 10 car finally. That was a long time being stuck behind him, and now the 8 has pulled away over just over 2 car lengths from the 10. Jordan Berry put up heck of a fight there over the 8 and 6 car, so let's see if he can continue to defend off the 6. The 6 not able to put as much pressure as the 8 did over the 10, but could potentially figure out something here. Possibly did the 10 burn up those tires. He's really loose here again off the exit. That could be a sign of those rear tires being worn out. You saw numerous slides from the 10. 6 car running a little bit higher of a line there, trying to get this diamond corner. He's going to look to the inside. Not sure if he's going to have enough here. Let's see what he's able to do. It's so hard to pass here in that bottom lane on the older tires coming off of turn 2. We haven't been able to see a lot of drivers pull it off without either contact or a mistake from the other drivers who they're battling against. So Nick Wood's going to have to try and figure out a way to get around this 10 car if he wants 3rd position. Maybe give him a little bit of a bump into the corner, or just find a way to get to his outside, because that seems to be where the 10 car has held off all these guys so far. Is that high lane hasn't really allowed anybody to get to the outside of him, and Nick Wood's been trying, just not enough to get out there quite yet. Going back here, we got a battle for 5th, 6th going on. Oh, Bryce Shoemaker with a big slide there in the back. So far, Bryce Shoemaker has had a pretty quiet night. Hasn't really done anything too crazy. He's been sitting pretty much where he sat all night in about that 7th position, trying to chase down the 5 and the 37 here in front of him to get some more positions checked off. Talking to him, though, he seemed like he was struggling a little bit in practice. 5 car with a little bit of a wiggle there, come off turn 2. 54 not able to gain anything really on that 5 car. See if this 5 car can put pressure to this 37. That's a really tough spot to be in when you're directly behind somebody, but someone's also directly behind you. You got to be able to force pressure on the driver in front of you, as it looked like he tried to peek to the inside there, maybe force the 37 into a mistake. Now he's going to get pressure from this 54. But as I was saying, when you're stuck in between 2 cars, you want to get around the guy in front of you best you can, but you also can't let the guy behind you force you into a mistake, or worse, get a 2-for-1 pass. And looks like Bryce Shoemaker had a not so great set of corners there, so he lost a little bit more time. Maybe give the 5 a little bit more breathing room. Although I will say this 54, oh, big side right there. 54 has found a little bit more speed than these 2 guys in front of him on this higher side in 3 and 4. Not quite as good coming off of 2 at least. Has a pretty good turn 1, but then just one too many slides coming off of turn 2. Now the 5 to this inside of the 37. Turn 2 has not been the place to pass. We've seen it time and time again. Just this driver. Oh, Bryce Shoemaker there in the wall. Cooked the corner just a little bit. Trying to get as much out of that car as possible. Maybe a little bit of right front damage there for him. He's going to continue on though. Let's see if this 5 car can make anything happen on this inside lane coming off of 2. It's not quite enough for this 5 car. This 5 car needs, I think, to try and maybe work a little bit higher, try and get a decent run coming off of 2 to peak to the inside going into 3 and 4, because he's definitely been faster in 3 and 4 on the lower side. Let's see if he's able to clear him. Not quite. The 37 is going to fight back here. And this is probably the best position he's been in for a few laps. Sends it in a little bit deep. That rear end sliding around. Almost got into that 37 car. Able to hang on to it pretty good. But that's, oh, here he goes sideways again. 54 tries to peek to his outside. Not enough room. So like I was saying, this track is so tricky. It's just trying to find where others will make mistakes is really all it's come down to tonight. As we see the 54 back behind, maybe potentially go around. He saves it. What a really good save there by the 54. Oh, he almost went around trying to save it. Oh boy. Almost a close call there with the 47. 47 looks to be okay. I don't think he hit the wall too hard. Really close call here from both these drivers though. Back up to this battle of the 5, trying to work around this 37. We're counting down the laps, coming to 18 laps. Well, I guess it's 19 laps for these guys. Will be 18 laps to go once Reese Schaefer completes the lap here in a few seconds. We'll go up front here to Reese. He's coming around to the start-finish line right now. So he's got about just over a 7-second lead over Derek Garrison. And if we go back to this battle, he's coming off of 2 right now. These guys are going through 3 and 4 right now. So you can see the gap difference between these guys is almost half a track. And now it might not be super big to them, but if these guys do get a caution, that can play into what your strategy is. I mean, if you're this far back, you kind of got to maybe possibly take 2. I'm not quite sure if you would here. It's really risky. There's not a lot of grip to begin with. You see these guys sliding around. As right there, we see the 5 take a big slide. able to get around the 37 finally. And that's going to let Kazi close in on these guys behind him. Oh, I'm not quite sure if the 37's going to actually get back around him now. This 5 car is just consistently having too many slides off these corners, more specifically off of turn 2, and that's kind of been the difference between this 37 and the 5 car in these last 10 laps. Is just the 5 car loses all his momentum coming off of 2 and just can't complete the pass or can't hold off the 37. And Kazi right behind them is looking to try and take them both. I think he will have the speed compared to these guys to get around him pretty quickly. It's just, when are you going to make your move if you're Joseph Kazi? You've seen the 5 get super loose numerous times here, and you don't want to put yourself at risk in case the 5 does get loose again. Oh, as I said, that the 37 gets super loose. He's going to go around here. I'm not quite sure if that's going to be a caution. And it actually will be a caution. So we're going to have caution here. He's able to get it going. Again, didn't hit anything. We've seen a lot of these drivers so far get super loose coming off of turn 2. Not hit anything. A lot of that has to do with how much room is down there. There is grass, but that doesn't really... That's not as bad as eating the inside of a wall. So a lot of these drivers have been saved by this grassy area coming off of 2. Let's go ahead and take a look. I do think he got just loose and maybe got a little bit of help from that 5 car. Let's go ahead and take a look though. So it looks like, yeah, he got a little bit loose right there. Then that 5 car just tapped his right rear and just kind of helped him to go around. I'm not quite sure if he would have fully gone around if the 5 car wasn't there. But either way, it resulted in him going around it in a caution, which is going to stack these guys back up again. So these guys working their way down pit road now. I expect to see all these guys take at least 4 tires. I don't see anyone who would probably want to take 2 tires. I know this is going to give some of these guys a chance at a better position. I'm not quite sure if Reese Schaefer is going to have any challenge here. He's been pretty much class of the field all night. And actually, as I say that, I think Derek Garrison actually... Did he? I don't know if he beat him off pit road. I don't think he did there, so... Reese Schaefer's going to continue to hold on to this lead. And we'll have to see if anybody like Derek or Kazi is able to give him a run for his money. You've seen so far under green, Schaefer has been able to pull away by over, I'd say, about 5 to 6 seconds almost every time we've gone green. So a lot of these guys have an opportunity here to try and make something happen. All right, we're going to get this field set here. Pace car is going to take the hard left turn here. It's going to be Reese Schaefer, Derek Garrison here on the front row, Joseph Kazi, Jordan Berry. They're in that second row. End of the restart zone. Green flag back in the air. Good restart by both the top 2. Derek's able to maintain most of that speed, but Schaefer's going to be able to clear him there coming off of 2. See what Derek Garrison here can do to the 17 car Reese Schaefer. Maybe if he's able to get to the inside, not quite enough. Jordan Berry there, able to clear for third around Kazi. Derek Garrison gives a little bit of a bump there to the 17, trying to move him up out of the groove. Not enough though. All over the back bumper here, going to 3 and 4. Again, another bump there, trying to move Schaefer up out of it, and that's going to allow Derek to get to the inside. Hard battling here. Maybe a little bit of contact right there. A little bit of contact again here, coming out for 2. This is where we've seen Derek Garrison go around once already. All this racing has allowed Jordan Berry to catch back up here in 3rd position. And again, another bit of a bump, and that's going to send Reese Schaefer around this time. Actually, they held on to it, beating and banging, and we're actually going to get a caution. And after all that, that's going to open the door for Jordan Berry here, I believe, to get the lead. Go ahead and take a look at timing and see if these two were actually ahead or not. Looks like they were, so I am actually incorrect. That's going to put Schaefer and Reese, or Schaefer and Garrison back to the front. See if Schaefer comes down pit road. It looks like he will not. So he must feel confident with that damage and must not affect him too much, I'd assume, if he's willing to stay out. Let's go ahead and take a look at actually what happened there. These two drivers were racing really hard coming off of 1 and 2, and then again in 3 and 4, and just a little bit of contact sent them both into the wall. Derek Garrison got a good run here. Was able to get the inside, gave him a little bit of a bump, and just kind of almost, I'd say almost sent them around, and then maybe that's a little bit more than a bump, but both these drivers still were able to hang on to it and continue on their way. I'm not sure Reese is going to be too happy with that. You kind of see him give it a little bit of a door right there. Definitely hurt both these drivers damage-wise. Again, I don't think either of them have too much damage, but we'll have to see here with these last few laps if it potentially knocks something out of these cars for those two. All right, well, these guys are lined up now. And surprisingly, it's the 17 and the 8 still in the front row. Didn't lose any spots there. See if maybe this time by they're able to keep it a little bit cleaner. Yeah, I don't quite know what I would be thinking about if I was in the 17th position. That was pretty aggressive from the 8 car, but if the 17 is able to hold off the 8, probably wouldn't really matter to him. All right, let's get ready to go racing again here. Green flag back in the air. 17 and the 8 on the front row. Here comes the 3 of Joseph Kazi now. He's able to take second away from the 8 car. 8 car fighting back to the inside. Eight was able to clear the 3 there. Now he's going to set his sights back on this 17. Again, Reese on this higher line. That 8 car is sending. Oh, 8's really loose right there. Trying to do everything he can to give the 17 a run for his money. The 10 car back there. He's in the wall, it looks like. Not any significant wreck, though. 2 laps to go here. The 8 and the 17. A little bit of contact again, and that's going to send the 17 around now. That's going to collect the 54 and maybe a few others. So the 8 tried, and he tried, and then he tried again, and he finally hit it. And it being the 17 car, I don't think the 17 is going to be too happy about that. It looks like the 17 has quite a bit more damage. After that hit, you can kind of see that right front there on that camera work. Kind of looks like it may be potentially knocked out just a bit. That right front looks to be quite knocked out right there. Yeah, just aggressive on the 8 car. Again. Go back and take a look at it one more time. Just a bump and descend, and around goes the 17 into the wall, then collects the 54 back there as well. So 17 will probably have a few words for that 8 car after this race is done. And the biggest loss from that is going to be this 54 car. This wrong spot at the wrong time, and we have one fast repair for these drivers, and he looks like he used it, so he's still in this race, but not in probably the position he wants to be here with this late race caution. All right, now we got Derek Garrison, Joseph Kazi here on this front row, Nick Wood, Eric Garrison there in the 5 car. Green flag back in the air. Great launch by the 8, not so much by the 3. 8's able to clear the 3 before even getting into turn 1. Side by side here for second place now. That's a 6 and a 3. 6 sends it in deep. Oh, the 3 with a little bit of contact there from the 5. Now he's going to wash up. That's going to now allow Nick Wood in the 6 car to clear for second. But now he's got pressure from the 10 car. Still side by side here behind him. The 37's around. So is the 3 and the 54. But it's not going to matter because coming off of turn 4, the 8 car of Derek Garrison is going to win here at Legacy Phoenix after a controversial race with that 17 car. We'll be able to speak with him here in a few moments and see what his take on that wreck was. Derek Garrison's going to come around to this front stretch and do his celebratory burnout. That's his brother in the 5 car coming to join him here. He's going to get a little bump there from his brother. What a finish. That was very, very interesting way to end the race here. Late race caution bunched these guys up. Derek Garrison with a little bit of a bumper to the back of the 17, moved him out the way a few times. And then the 8 finally just said, all right, you're going around. So we'll have to talk to Reese potentially, see if he's willing to chat with us or not. For a moment, though, we'll take a commercial and we'll be right back, and then we'll speak to some of these drivers here. All right, we're back here at Legacy Phoenix. We'll talk to Nick Wood here first. Actually, it looks like Jordan Berry has joined us, so we'll talk to Jordan Berry here first. Hey, Jordan, you got a copy on us?
I got you.
Alrighty, well, you came here in 3rd position. You pretty much had a pretty decent night overall. Not really. There was a few points where maybe that caution could have not gone your way, but overall you kind of stayed in that at least 2nd to 3rd place range. Go over about your night.
Yeah, it's probably where I was going to finish most of the night. Derek was faster than me, there's no question, but I don't know how many laps we battled side by side to probably burn my stuff up, but I don't know, it would have been interesting if we would have went green, because I was catching them very slightly, but probably not enough time. But I don't know, that's some of the most fun I've had racing on this service in a while, for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, overall, it looked like a really fun race. It was a really slick track. We saw a few moments from almost every driver, I think, in the field off of 2. That looked to be like the most troubling spot. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. It was you had to feather it, and like you were on the edge. It was almost like driving the next gen, but you could still lean on the right rear, where the next gen you just can't lean on it. Once you lean on it, around you go. So it was a lot of fun. I mean, I can't complain. It was I would have liked to see a little better finish, but that's I guess that's racing.
Yeah, I
And
think
I also think I should have taken the lead on that when they got into it, but that's okay.
that's what I was saying up here. I for sure thought you had the race lead, and then we went back to timing, and it looked like you didn't quite have it. But
No.
overall, still, I mean, 3rd place finish, not not the worst. You know, it could have been could have been way worse. I do agree with
Oh,
you on
yeah.
that finish. Definitely a little maybe controversial, but
Yeah.
overall, you know, you had a pretty decent night, and congrats on the third place finish.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks for doing the broadcast, and thanks all the admin and everyone that keeps this league running. And it's always a nice late Sunday night race for me, and I enjoy it.
Alrighty, Jordan. Thank you for taking a moment to speak with us, and hopefully talk to you next week
Yeah, you have a good one. Thank you.
too. All right, that was third place finisher Jordan Berry. I know a lot of people here are going to be uh, talking about the finish here for a while, so let's go ahead and get our winner of Derek Garrison in here. Derek Garrison, you got a copy?
Yeah, what's up?
Alrighty, well that was a heck of a race. No, some people not quite thrilled with how it ended, but I mean you got the win at the end of the night. Just tell me maybe a little bit about how you put yourself in position and what exactly happened there.
Uh, we was way behind today, so yeah, Reese was the fastest car, so the caution come out, and I figured out I have to use a bumper, man, to win the race. Tyler finished second, third, so we used the bumper, and we got we got to win.
Well, you talked about using the bumper, and that was definitely a little bit of a bumper being used. A huge concern. I mean, I know Reese has, I think it is 4 wins currently, and maybe it won't see any retaliation because he's got that comfort. But going in through the season, do you expect anything in return at some point?
Oh yeah, most definitely, yeah. So yeah, I pushed first, so yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll come back with something. We'll see, but I won't be mad about it.
That's fair. As long as you give and are able to receive without complaining too much, then I think the table's set pretty fine.
Right,
Um,
if I dish it out, I gotta take it. So right.
exactly, exactly. I mean, as long as you expect it and aren't, confused when it happens, then I think everything will be set and fine for the most part. But this is your second win. Actually, I think both your wins have come at legacy tracks. What seems to be your thing with these older tracks and these less hand, more, I'd say more driver and less hand. Maybe I'm not sure if handling would be the right term, but more driver input and more control of the car.
Well, I really don't know much about this place, but Atlanta is probably one of my favorite tracks, probably one of my best tracks. But we got a couple more legacy tracks coming. We got Texas and Kentucky, so hopefully I run good there. So I really don't know. I just show up and just run good at the legacy tracks for some odd reason.
All right, well, sometimes that's all you need to do is just show up and run good, and you did that again. So congrats on the win, Derek. Before I let you go, is there anything you'd like to add? Anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, thank you for the broadcast. I hope you had fun. I know it was a boring race toward till the end. Um, Bryce, all the admins here on Freedom. Um, that's about it, man.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for taking a moment to speak with us. Congrats on the win, and we look forward to next week. And wish you the best with
Yeah,
that 17.
I'm playing a target on my ass end, that's for sure.
uh, alrighty, Derek.
See you,
Take it
man.
easy. All right, that was Derek Garrison. We spoke to him. We got his side of the story. Just was tired of finishing second and just used the bumper up. I'm not quite sure if Reese is going to be too thrilled about that one, and that might come back to bite him. But we'll see here what actually Reese is willing to do. So, with that, let's get a word with Nick. Finished second. Nick, you got us there, buddy?
What's up, Oscar? How you doing?
What's up, Nick? Congrats on the second place finish. That was
Yeah,
that was an intense last few laps there.
yeah, those green white checkers were pretty crazy there. I definitely want to say first that I'm sorry to Joseph Kazi. I've kind of washed up there and coming into 3. on the second to last lap and used them up. So my bad on doing that, but I'll take the second, I guess.
Well, we talked.
I was pretty bad at the beginning of the race day. You know, I was definitely needed some time to get the car going to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say we saw you have those two earlier spins, honestly, quite early on, and we said I
Yeah.
did say your race wasn't over. You just would need to be able to adjust and fix those mistakes. I think one was off of
Yeah.
4 and one was off of 2, and you're able to do that and result in a second place finish. And like you said, really chaotic and aggressive finish there at the end.
Yeah, I got lucky staying out of trouble there at the end too, and you know, like I said at the beginning of the race, I just need to put more practice in, honestly, and it's just that's on me right there. But this track's a little tricky on the throttle. The car's got a lot of horsepower, and I had to remember that. It took me a while to get there, but once it went green there for that like 75 laps, I think I was able to, get used to running on the older tires and figure out the throttle a little better. But it was definitely a fun race. I appreciate you for broadcasting and Bryce for always hosting us. You know, I've been racing with you guys now for past 3 seasons. I've been having a blast.
Yeah, you've been with us for a long time, and I think this is going to give you a lot of momentum here in these next few weeks. Might not have been the best start, but
Oh
I
no,
think
God
I
no.
think the second place finish is going to be really good for you, and hopefully
Oh
we can talk to you again in the next few weeks, and hopefully you can build off this momentum.
yeah, I hope so too. It's just all about being consistent, right? You know, and these cars are tricky to drive, but I like driving them. It's just I don't have. I need more practice with them. I know Reese. You know, he's unbelievable in these cars. He's just fast. Derek's really good too, and Joseph also. You know, those are really 3 hard, hard competitors, and sometimes you get lucky. I'll take the second tonight. You know.
Second place, sometimes you just
Yeah.
gotta take it, like you said, and that you did. Congrats again, Nick. Thank you for talking with us, and we'll see you next week.
All right, Oscar. Once again, thank you for broadcasting, and once again, thank you to Bryce for putting this league on. You know.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Have a good night.
You too. All right, that was Nick Wood, our second place finisher. Let's go ahead and take a look at the finishing results here. Whoops. So again, Derek Garrison here with the win. Nick Wood there in second place. Jordan Berry in third. We're able to get Reese Schaefer rebounded back to fourth place. Not an ideal finish for him. We'll go back and take a look at that in just a moment. Then Jim Foskett there in fifth position. Great night for him. Another top 5 to his name. Keith Shoemaker in sixth. Also a really good night for him. Was able to get through that last lap carnage there and make something out of it. Aaron Kay there in seventh position. Bryce Shoemaker, 8th position after getting caught up in both those last 2 wrecks. And then we got Eric Garrison and Joseph Kazi rounding out your top 10. Going to page number 2, our last 2 drivers, Jordan Trask, Stephen Davis. Jordan Trask had an early exit, and so did Davis. 149 laps down. I think he had early issues there. Then Jordan Trask, we'll have to catch up and see what actually happened with him. But now let's go ahead and take a look at that contact between the 17 and the 8 here. So this is what we've all been looking at. Is this move right here? It's what sent the 17 around, collected the 54. And this is what these guys are going to have to look at as from an official standpoint. Again, maybe not something that you take action on right now, but throughout the season, maybe there's something that you want to set for limits. Either way, at the end of the night, it is Derek Garrison with the win. So congrats to him. Going on through the schedule, let's take a look at this. Tonight we had Legacy Phoenix. Then next week, Richmond Raceway for 175 laps. That'll be really interesting and another really fun track for a lot of these drivers. We've had great racing there over the previous seasons. Las Vegas Motor Speedway is also going to be another good track. I think we'll see a lot of interesting things happen there. Probably a lot of lead changes, a lot of strategy. And then we got the Triple Cup Challenge. That is basically our all-star race. That's 3 different tracks. And I can't quite remember what we're getting for rewards to drivers. But either way, that's going to be a really fun night of racing, and that is July 6th. So if you're free that weekend, that's going to be a good way to wrap up your 4th of July weekend. Going on to the week after that, Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway for 200 laps. That is the start of our playoffs. And then we got Rockingham Speedway and Darlington Raceway. Those are both going to be really difficult and tricky tracks for some of these drivers. More of a demanding track. Could potentially see Derek Garrison, like we talked to him there at the end. He's really good at these more demanding tracks. See if maybe he can make something happen at those. And overall, over the next few races here, it looks like we're going to have a pretty fun schedule coming up. All those races start at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you tune in and join us. I think we'll have a lot of fun over the next few Sundays. Then let's go ahead and take a look at our fastest lap. It was Ray Schaefer, 29.119. That's going to be a 1 extra point to his name. So maybe not the win, but it will still be an extra point for having the fastest lap of the race. So congrats to him. Other than that, I think we pretty much got everything covered. I don't have anything else for anybody out there. We spoke to majority of the drivers. Reese declined to speak with us. So with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here. Thank you for joining us tonight. It was a really intense and aggressive race at the end. And we'll have to see what these next few weeks bring to us. Thank you for joining us and watching the Freedom Racing Sunday Night Series. And hopefully we'll speak to you guys soon within the next few weeks.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.